Hi, welcome to my channel Black Box. This time, I will discuss the American Civil War, a civil war that occurred in the United States between 1861 and 1865. This war was the deadliest war in American history, killing approximately 620,000 soldiers and destroying much of the South. What caused this war and what was its impact? Let's look at it together. The Civil War in America was sparked by the issue of slavery, which became a source of political tension in the country in 1850. The northern states, called the Union, wanted to abolish slavery throughout the country, while the southern states, the so-called Confederacy, wanted to maintain their right to own slaves. When Abraham Lincoln, an anti-slavery man, was elected president in 1860, 11 southern states decided to secede from the United States and form the Confederate States of America, led by Jefferson Davis. The war began on April 12, 1861, when Confederate troops attacked Fort Sumter, a Union fort in South Carolina. The battle lasted 34 hours and ended with the surrender of the Union forces. This was the first shot of the American Civil War, which later spread to various regions of the country. Some of the famous battles that occurred during this war were the Battle of Bull Run, the Battle of Antietam, the Battle of Gettysburg, and the Battle of Appomattox. The war ended on April 9, 1865, when the Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to the Union General Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia. It marked a Union victory and a Confederate defeat. This war also ended the practice of slavery in the United States after Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which stated that all slaves in the Confederate territories were free. However, this war also left a deep impact on the American nation, both socially, economically, politically, and culturally. The American Civil War was one of the first wars to demonstrate industrialized weapons warfare in human history. This war involved the use of railroads, steamships, firearms, cannons, telegraphs, and various other military tools. This war also developed the practice of total war, which meant destroying the enemy's resources, both military and civilian, to break their spirit. This war also introduced trench warfare, which meant digging holes to hide from enemy fire. These tactics were later used in World War I in Europe. Who were the important figures in the American Civil War? There were many important figures involved in the American Civil War, both from the Union and the Confederacy. The following are some of them. Abraham Lincoln. He was the 16th President of the United States who led the Union side during the war. He also issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which abolished slavery in Confederate territories. Jefferson Davis. He was the President of the Confederate States of America who led the Confederacy during the war. He attempted to defend states' rights and the practice of slavery. Robert E. Lee. He was a Confederate general who became Supreme Commander of Southern Forces. He was renowned for his bravery and strategy in winning several important battles. Ulysses S. Grant. He was a Union general who became Supreme Commander of the Northern Forces. He was renowned for his aggressive and persistent tactics in pursuing Southern troops. Harriet Tubman. She was a former slave who became the leader of the Underground, a secret network that helped slaves escape from the South to the North. She also became a spy and nurse for the Union Frederick Douglass. He was a former slave who became a leader of the abolitionist movement, a movement that opposed slavery. He also became a writer, speaker, and diplomat for the Union side. And how did this war impact the black community in the United States? The American Civil War had a major impact on the black community in the United States. The following are some of the impacts. This war ended the practice of slavery in the United States. After President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which stated that all slaves in the Confederate territories were free. This war also paved the way for granting civil rights to black citizens, after Congress passed 3 constitutional amendments, namely Law 13, Law 14, and Law 15. Act 13 abolished slavery in the United States. Act 14 guaranteed that citizens had equal protection of the law, and Act 15 allowed blacks to vote. However, this war also created new problems for the black community, such as discrimination, segregation, racism, violence, poverty, and injustice. Black citizens still face unfair treatment from authorities, such as the police, courts, and government. Black people also still experience difficulties in obtaining education, employment, health, and welfare. Therefore, black people continue to struggle to obtain their rights on an equal footing with white people. They carry out various movements, protests, and civil actions demanding equality, freedom, and justice. Some important figures who led this movement were Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and others. That's my brief review of the American Civil War. Hopefully this is useful and adds to your insight. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, and see you in the next video.